everybody, Nicki, Kris. We are on a doubleheader mixed in it Saturday Live. So thanks again for joining. Second part of our double, in case you missed it. We had Karen Bella on earlier this morning, so check that video out. And we're getting ready to welcome another singer-songwriter from up north, this time from the Philadelphia area. Her name is Jeanette, and she also has a new album out. So I'm so excited because we're going to be sharing some new music as well. So her album is called Jellyfish on the Moon. So hopefully she will click in shortly and we'll get to talk with her a little bit about her new music, what inspires her. Maybe I'll have her play a couple of songs, at least one or two, and we are going to learn more about her. So as we wait for Lisa to join on in, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm in North Carolina. It's actually a little hot at the moment. Pop in the chat and tell me where you are from. Tell us what's going on while we wait for Lisa to join us. We're excited. So I do believe also her second album ended up on the folk charts, which is really wicked cool. So I'm excited to talk to her about that. We are going to find her on our phone while we're waiting to see if we can locate her. So while you're joining and waiting for a fun chat with Jeanette, tell me where you're from. Like I mentioned, I'm in North Carolina in the USA. So I just saw that Lisa has joined us, so I'm going to send her an invite and invite her into our little Saturday Live from the couch. And we will get to know a little bit about Lisa. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Nicki, I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I was
good, thanks.
Wanted to hear you.
Awesome. Great to meet you. This is our first time chatting, so I always love these because I never know what to expect.
Yeah, this is a surprise to me too.
Awesome. This is great. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you today, and I would love us to chat about some of your, you've got a new album out, right? Jellyfish on the Moon. It's charted. Yes. All kinds of fun stuff. So tell us about it.
So, Jellyfish on the Moon, the concept is actually from a true story. I actually was watching One Strange Rock. It's a show that is narrated by Will Smith. And they told this story about, did you ever see that show?
No.
Yeah, it's a sciencey show. My husband watches all these sciencey shows, and, you know, Will Smith happened to be narrating it. But they were talking about how NASA sent these jellyfish into space. It wasn't the moon, but it was the space station. So NASA sent these jellyfish into space as an experiment, and they sent 2,500 jellyfish, and they came back, because they had mated, with 60,000 jellyfish. And when they brought those jellyfish back to Earth, the ones that had been born in space back to Earth, they found they couldn't tell up from down anymore. And they have like calcium nitrate crystal. We have them in our inner ear. Like if you ever had like some dizziness and they make you do these exercises to put your crystals back in your head.
Yeah.
They have crystals. Yeah, I've had that a couple times. But they have these crystals in the perimeter of their bell, and they were still intact, but they no longer could tell up from down. And I empathized with that because it was just like, oh my gosh, sometimes I don't know up from down. To me, it was like it just like stuck with me. It just resonated with me. So that's where the song came from, and then titled the album. You know, I could have called it Portrait because I have a song Portrait, but that would have gotten lost in the shuffle. You know, like there's so many albums called Portrait, I'm sure, but I don't think there's another album called Jellyfish on the Moon.
No, I don't think so either. It's not common title. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's more of like a folksy type of folk-based album. And I know that you charted in March, so that's awesome. Huge congratulations on that.
Thank you. Actually, I released the single. It was a holiday song called
Oh,
Mrs.
cool.
Claus. And my coach, Vance Gilbert, is featured on it. He's, world-renowned folk singer. But and he's great on it. But that I released in December, and that charted #1 in the folk chart. And then, so my folk album is folk, but it's also, I sort of like cross genres a little bit. Like some people hear musical theater in my songs, some people hear like pop, or it's like I kind of cross genres a bit. I would never call me jazz. I would never call me musical theater. And even folk is a stretch, I think. But actually, I live in Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia folk DJ, Ian Zalator, he says that folk music is anything the folks are listening to. And his show on Sunday nights, he plays such a wide variety. So I fit into his idea of what folk is too. But there are some people I would not fit into their idea of folk music.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting how the industry tries to force you into what they think certain genres are.
Yeah.
Which, I'm like you, and there's a couple artists that I've talked to lately too. I tend to lean, I'll say, pop rock. But I love alternative. I love to do stuff like that. I also like Latin, even though I don't sing Spanish. But I love reggaeton and mumble-ton and all of that type of tropical type of vibey music and things like that.
How could you not love it?
I know. It's just like so upbeat and happy, like all the time. Yeah. You're just like, oh, yeah, let's go. But, it's like a lot of people try and force you into one lane. Like I don't know about you, but I mean, like, and I would agree that folk is just one, folk genre is one of those genres that, I don't want to say it's like the catch-all, because it's not, but I think it has a little bit more acceptance of variant than some of the others, right? So
True. Yeah.
it's great that you're able to capture that and build upon that and things like that, because like I've had people try and push me in the country, go in the country. I'm like, no, not a country artist. Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, you can hear some country in my stuff too. It's just like, it's all the music. To me, I get influenced by everything. Like people ask what my influences are, and I get influenced by everyone. It's like, things I heard yesterday, or, a song circle I was in. Like I'm just so easily influenced. So, and you could call myself folk rock. You could call it Americana, but I heard the difference between folk and Americana is Americana gets paid. Folk doesn't get paid as much. I would say that. But yeah, it's to me, it's a good thing that I'm not like a certain genre that, I feel like that's a good thing because I have variety on my album, but it also really is hard to market yourself because it's like, well, and beside all that, I love the folk audience. The folk people that follow folk music are diehard music fans. They're just like rabid fans, and they're great. And the people are kind and just caring people. And I love the folk, the people that it attracts. Like they're my kind of people.
Well, awesome. I mean, and that's really what it's all about, right? Is having a following or catering to a group of individuals that accept you for who you are and what you put out, not what somebody else is telling you to do. Right?
Yeah, true. Yep.
Right?
It's true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we had the describe your music question. Talking about the album stuff. So tell us a little bit more about the album. Like how many songs does it have on it? What inspired it besides the Will Smith TV show? So anything else kind of fill in that?
Yeah. So it has 14 songs. I actually had a look, but this is the album. It has 14 songs on it. and different things. But there is, like, I call it the Bronze Trilogy, although it's not like marked that way. There was I'm a big fan of Johannes Brahms, mid 19th century composer, and I have a degree in classical music and double bass. So, and Brahms wrote really great bass lines. So I love Brahms music. Brahms had this. He got to know Clara and Robert Schumann. Clara Schumann was like a composer in her own right. She was a touring musician. She was a virtuoso pianist. She toured. She lived in Germany. She toured the Netherlands and England and Russia. And she was the main income for her family because Robert Schumann had mental challenges. So he was like, he struggled. And they had 7 kids. So she was like the breadwinner and just toured. And well, when Brahms was told, go meet them, meet Clara and Robert Schumann. They're the kingmakers. Like they'll make you famous. And because everybody was like, Brahms, you gotta meet him. So he finally did. He knocked on their door, and my song "Darling in the Muses" talks about this. And he sat down at the piano, and he started to play. And Robert was like, "Wait, I gotta get my wife." And he went and got his wife and brought her back in. And they all 3 of them just fell in love with each other. And it was sort of like this love triangle where, I don't think that it was ever like consummated. And some people think after Robert Schumann died, it might have been, but it's just this really interesting like love triangle. And in the end, they weren't together, and Brahms never married. And Clara Schumann had other relationships, but she wrote in her diary that like when she met Brahms, it's like he had a halo. He had blonde hair. She said she walked in and his music just blew her away, and his blonde hair was like a halo on his head, and she was just his big blue eyes, and she's just like, was just enamored with him. And so I think it's an interesting story. So there's 3 songs. Darling of the Muses is in the voice of Clara, that she's married to the kingmaker, and then Sky Don't Fall is in the voice of Johannes Brahms, because it's kind of I felt simpatico with Johannes Brahms because I didn't get married till I was 45, and so I was alone a really long time, and I like even alone, like I wasn't even dating or anything. I just was alone a lot. So when I I just felt like maybe I'm going to be like him and never marry, and I always felt like simpatico. So I wrote the song Sky Don't Fall, which is Brahms wrote a song early in his career called "World Don't Perish, Sky Don't Fall Until I'm with the Girl I Love." So I took those words and made it "Till I'm with the One I Love." So I stole his words. I've never heard the song. It's in German, I'm sure. Probably, I couldn't understand it. But so that's where that song came from. And then For You and, oh no, sorry. You Don't Look My Way is how, it's Robert Schumann's voice, the husband of Clara Schumann. It's how I would feel because Robert Schumann was Clara's father's protege. Like he studied music with him, and Robert Schumann, when he wanted to marry Clara, her father said, "No, I don't think you're good enough for her." So he sued her father for her hand and won and married her. So he went to great lengths to be with her. But then, how must he have felt when she was like enamored with Brahms and, he turned her head, and so I just imagine that he felt a little bad about that. But from all, like, everything I've read, Robert was like cool with it. He was like, this is, so those 3 songs are about that, so all the songs, I mean, they're from different things. Never Been to War is a anti-war protest song.
Oh, nice.
That was from, I get influenced by the most ridiculous things. I watched this, like, it's like a guilty pleasure show called Cable Girls. It's actually, I think, out of Spain or Portugal. And it's like overdubbed in English, so their lips move, but they're not saying anything. But there was one opening of one of their seasons where it was Spain, because it was the Spanish Civil War. And she was narrating, the main character was narrating over it and saying, and they were showing this war-torn country, like this vision of things, and she was saying, war is dust, war is, pain, and war is ugly, and she was kind of really painting that picture. And I thought about how, we in the United States don't really know. Like we've never been in.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I hope, well, let's say hopefully we never do. I mean, I'm sure that probably the Civil War is probably the closest thing that, but that was many, many years ago, right? But to be in something like World War II, World War I, all the fighting happened overseas. There wasn't anything going on here. So
unless you've served in a war,
right.
or served, which thank you for your service if you have. But it's just that kind of feeling like we don't really understand it. Like, and we might be like, yeah, we should go to war with whatever country, or no, we shouldn't, but we really don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
But I just saw Robert Bruckner join. Hi, Rob. So my song "Don't Blame Me," Jolene's Reply, is a reply to the song Jolene, Dolly Parton's Jolene, and I had posted a meme of Dolly Parton, and it said, "Feeling cute, think I'll kick Jolene's ass." And Rob Bruckner, who is on this on Instagram Live right now, he said, "I think you should write a reply song to that song." And I thought, I'm usually not good at a prompt. Like usually prompts, I don't resonate with them, but for some reason that one I resonated really well with, and so that's where that song came from. So they all came from something different.
Oh, that's good. But that's great. That's great. I mean, that just shows versatility. It shows you get inspired by different things. So that's awesome. So
in that case, it was another.
Yeah,
go ahead.
This is great. So I was gonna say, so are you gonna play some of these songs for us today?
Sure. I mean, I can do that song. Jolene's Reply, that "Don't Blame Me" right now.
That would be awesome.
So if you don't know the song Jolene is a Dolly Parton song, very famous, and it's about, she's asking Jolene to not steal her man away. And don't judge me that I have a straw. I bought like a zillion straws before there was a straw awareness thing. So I could throw them away and pretend they never existed, but they exist, and they help when I have lipstick on. So please don't judge, but I usually don't use straws.
No judging, no judging.
I actually carry my own straw. I actually now, this happened pre-quarantine, but I bought like a package of silverware, and now my husband and I take it when we go out, and it has a straw. It has two kinds of straw, a straight straw and a bendy straw, but they're like metal. And I'm sure you want to know all about that.
Well, that'll be our next conversation. So we'll chat about life during the pandemic after you play this song.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So this is called "Don't Blame Me," Jolene's Reply, and it's on my album Jellyfish on the Moon. It's me, Jolene, who takes the blame. I hear you yodeling my name every single time you get the chance. You declare that I'm the one who came along and spoiled your fun. You're just using me for your snake dance. Don't blame me. Some say you're the finest woman they've ever seen. I don't want to compete with you. I don't want your man wants me. That song you sing is such a frog. You spin your tail like Scheherazade, as if your live or die depends on me. Your imaginings put me through hell. The truth is stranger than the story you tell. Listen up, the truth will set you free. Don't blame me. Some say you're the finest woman they've ever seen. I don't want to compete with you. I don't want your man wants me. Your man is not the one for me. But if he wants another, cut him loose, set him free. I see the sadness in your eyes, yeah, that's a look I recognize when a situation's finally seized. And if you didn't think I'd done you wrong, I bet we would get along. We have more in common than it seems. Don't blame me. Some say you're the finest woman they've ever seen. I don't want to compete with you. I don't want your man wants me. Your man is not the one for me. But if he wants another, cut him loose, set him free. Don't blame me. I'd say you're the finest woman I've ever seen. I don't want to compete with you. I don't want to compete with you. I don't want your man. I want you.
Nice.
Little twist ending at the end.
Yes. Yes. I like
So
that.
that was, thanks. Yeah, that's I'm kind of promoting that this month because it's Pride Month. Every month should be Pride Month, but yeah. So it's really weird. When I wrote that song, I didn't know the ending till I got there. You know, it's like I was writing it and I'm like, how's this gonna end?
I know, don't you love those? Because you're like in the middle of something and then you're that happens to me like all the time when I'm writing. I'm just like going, eh. I actually do the song response as a prompt quite often.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I actually do that. And I actually encourage people to do that because everybody's, you know, a lot of times there's a couple artists that I listen to that a lot of their songs are up for interpretation. So how I'm interpreting how the song is what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
You know, think about like responding based upon what you think it's about. And then I go out and I'm like, okay, so I think it's about this. And this person thinks it's about this. Ooh, that even makes me think of a better response, you know? So I use that all the time. It's one of my favorite prompts.
Yeah, I had a cousin of mine come up to me once and she went to one of my concerts and I was telling the stories of how I wrote the songs, what they meant to me, blah, blah, blah. And she came up to me afterwards and said, it's really cool to hear what you think about your songs, but she's like, they mean something completely different to me. I have my own interpretation. Like she was just like, that's all cute and everything, but she's like, I have my own way that I hear them and what I hear in them, and you know, so it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everybody, and I mean, unless you specifically say this song is about this, or unless it's like very, very obvious, it's very interesting to hear, you know, even feedback from others going, yeah, you know, like this meant this to me, and you're like, well, that's not really what it's about, but okay.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. It works.
Yeah, there was one song in the studio. Glenn Barrett, who produced my album, he did a guitar part on "You Don't Look My Way," which is just amazing. It sounds like a James Bond guitar part. It's just like, it's amazing. But he said, yeah, I thought it would fit with, you know, since it's a stalker song. I'm like, it's not a stalker song. It's like, it's kind of Schuman's husband being jealous. And he's like, it's a stalker. And then I thought, wow. And then I had to re-listen to it. I'm like, I guess it could be a stalker song.
Yeah, you know, I've done that with, like, there's a couple that's like, I've never done any covers or released any covers. Let's put it that way. And there's a couple of songs that I'm like, I've said to my producer, I'm like, you know what? If you slowed this down and you added in like these kind of elements, if you listen to the lyrics, like, this is deep, this is really dark, it would like totally change the whole, you know, like what people would think that the song is. So yeah, can certainly.
Yeah, I had that experience in the studio with a different song too, World Will Perish Fall, which is the Brahms voice. I was playing it more of like a hard rock, folk rock kind of thing. And my producer's like, what if we slowed this down like a little James Taylor-y and kind of thing? And they did, and I was just, so we sang the song, the band played it, we were all quarantined, and we did this during quarantine, we were all in our own rooms. And I sang through the song with the band, and I got to the end and I was like, wow, that song is sad. I mean, I knew it was a sad song, but just that little twist, like turning it a little bit slower, just like you said, turned it into a different song. It was like
Yeah.
amazing.
Don't you
Yeah.
love that? Don't you love, like, it's always good to get, you have in your head when you go into the studio, this is how I want this song to be. This is how I want this song to be. And then somebody says something and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. It's always good to have. It sounds like you had a really awesome crew to work with, and producers and all that stuff and everything. So that's really cool, because that's really important, because to take suggestions that they say and go with it. It takes faith, right? Faith and trust
Yeah.
that they're like telling you, yeah, this is really good. This
Well,
this is the
I
way to
was
go.
fortunate. I did, what's that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was fortunate because I did this like after a month and a half, 2 months of quarantine. I called my producer and said, are you doing anything? And he said, yeah, we're doing things in the studio. Come on in. So we did it, and then when it was over, actually just recently, I took a guitar lesson from the guitar player on the album, Ross Bellamont, and he said that like that was really their first time out. They were on fire because they hadn't played in so long together, that and they hadn't been working. They were out of work, so to have an opportunity to work, to have an opportunity to play with each other, they were just on fire. So they blew me away. I just had no
Oh,
idea.
that's great.
Yeah, they really did.
So, Tess, okay, so it sounds like we're talking about quarantine, and then I'm going to ask you to play another song before we
Okay.
sign off. Well, we'll tell socials and all. No, we have to play this or that game too. Oh my. Okay, so we have a lot to do in a short period amount of time. Quarantine, obviously, because I think you actually perform quite a bit as well too. So
Yeah, I don't really perform that much. I did a couple online things, and
Okay.
before quarantine, I was actually, well, yeah, I did play quite a bit that summer before. I did like too many festivals. It was a little bit crazy, but yeah, that really did slow down, and it needed to for me, because it made me a little, because I have a day job, so it made me a little bit nuts. But yeah, during quarantine, because I have a day job and because there were so many musicians needing to make money online, I kind of stayed away from online. I only did it like a handful of times. It's not even five. Like it was like three maybe. And I did that because, not that I would be some big draw away from other musicians, but I just thought, rather than be in that mix of when people are really trying to earn a living, like I didn't think it was fair for me to even do that. Not that I would even ask for money, but it just, like I don't know, I just didn't feel right. It felt like I should keep those airways to the people that need it, and not try to promote myself. So that's kind of what I did during quarantine. And I played the online version of the Philadelphia Folk Festival contest and won. So I got booked at the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and I still don't know whether I'm going to be online or live. They're doing a live version of it somewhere. I don't even know the details, but yeah. So that's my next gig. Maybe live will be that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So that
Have
was
you
one
been
that
doing this? Have you been doing any gigging yet?
no, not really. And I'm not a big live, like online streaming thing. And I recently
Yeah.
moved, so I had to tear down my studio, and I haven't
Oh, wow.
built it back up yet. So kind of been playing I don't really have my setup yet, but I actually plan on going out. We're going to be doing some sim events. So Sisters in Music we're hoping to do something in New York City in October. We will be having
Nice.
something out in Los Angeles at the end of January as part of Grammy Week,
Oh, wow.
hopefully. So we're
Wow.
trying to do some things. I've got to get with some local people as well, because things are just starting to open up down here. So people are just starting to get back out and gigging, and I've got to connect with some local folks and say, hey, let's jam.
Yeah.
So
It's just starting. I think it's just starting to open up a little bit. So
yeah.
it's kind of nice.
Yes, 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 yes. But, future should be pretty busy with, gigging and events and things like that. So, and it sounds like it will be for you too. So, before we get to another song, this or that game, you
Okay.
gotta play it. Have you ever played it before?
I haven't. I've seen it on Colbert.
This is the Nicki Kris Saturday Live version. It's not crazy. It's, we do like 8 to 10 of these. It's 2
Okay.
words. Pick what pops into your mind first, what your favorite is, just so everyone can get to know you just a little bit more. You ready?
Yeah, but you have to know I'm a Libra, so I'm very indecisive, so this might not go well.
Ah,
I'll try.
you'd be
I'll
surprised.
try.
It's all right. Okay, here we go. Plane or train?
Trains.
Karen said trains earlier too, so that's kind of cool. Usually everybody says plane. City or nature?
Nature.
Beach or mountains?
Mountain.
Big party, small gathering?
Small gathering.
Apples or oranges?
That's a tough one. Apples.
Cake or ice cream?
Ice cream. Oh my God, yes.
Phone call or text?
Phone call.
Sneakers or sandals?
It depends. Sandals, I'll say.
When walking or jogging, audiobook or music?
Affirmations. Neither.
Ooh,
Affirmations.
I like that.
I walk and I say, I'm a good person.
No, those are good.
That's what I do.
Those are good. I'm usually like, I have like this, I used to run all the time. And I had like this run playlist. And man, I have some hard rocking things in there. So it's like, that's like my hard rock, alternative rock, like jam out.
Get your blood
like,
pumping kind of thing.
You get your, just like, hey, gotta run, type of thing. So, all right, cool. So that was easy. So, socials, where can everybody find you?
Lisa Jeanette Me on Instagram, and I think Twitter, Facebook. I think it's all Lisa Jeanette Me, or Lisa Jeanette. And then
Don't take that off. You're playing another song.
I was gonna try to play piano, but it might see if this sounds okay.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
It's okay. Okay, I'll play piano on the next one.
All right, cool. So Lisa Jeanette Me on pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, cool. And your website's probably Lisa Jeanette.
LisaJeanette.com. Yep,
All
and
right.
that you can get the album either download or actually the CD on my website, LisaJeanette.com.
Awesome. Yes, people, buy music. Buy. Buy. B-U-Y. Streaming doesn't play. It pays crap. I'm just telling you. I'm being bluntly honest. Streaming pays
nothing.
Be kind. Download. I'm a downloader.
And I think until you actually do an album, you have no realization of how expensive it is.
Yeah,
so you put like this huge investment, and it's like, it's very hard to get that return on investment.
Yes, definitely. So support the artist. Go and buy. Streaming will take, but we prefer that you buy, actually, because it'd be much better. So with that, close us out or play us a final song. What are you going to play for us?
Okay, this is called Top of the Ferris Wheel. This one I actually wrote after coming home from Cape May. We unpacked the car, I sat down and wrote this, and I'd met a homeless woman in Cape May that just made me think of the way I grew up and that, there but for the grace of God go I kind of thing, where and she kind of even looked like me a little bit. So it was like one of these things where like, wow, I could be her. And if I were her, I'd go do what she's doing. I'd sit at the beach, even though I'm a mountain person. But this is called Top of the Ferris Wheel. I ran as fast as I could down to the storefront corner, peeking over the row homes, hoping to see the promise of the Ferris wheel, part of the sphere, winking back at me from the sky. I can see colors, the lights all aglow. Oh, how they twinkle at night. It's time for the carnival. Can I go hop a ride on the merry-go-round? Let's fly to the top of the Ferris wheel. I can see everything better from here. Didn't have much to hope for, never dreamed of diamonds or rubies. Came by the crazy, honestly, learned how to act scene from the movies. Ah, you should have seen me back then. I was drunk with desire, I wanted to be good at something, good to someone, prove them all to be liars. It's time for the carnival, can I go? Have a ride on the merry-go-round. Let's fly to the top of the Ferris wheel. I can see everything better from here. I sit on the bench and keep me October last meet on the shore. The church is a junkie's playground, the carnies don't stop it no more. Yes, it's a bit chilly in autumn, but I'm still seeking thrills and I have the right. No one should hold that against me. Everyone deserves to see pretty lights. It's time for the carnival. Can I go? Have a ride on the merry-go-round. Let's fly to the top of the Ferris wheel. Doesn't matter how fast you go fast or slow as you might. All of life is a circle, catch as you can, don't hold on too tight. Just when you think you've gone forward, you might go backward again. Don't waste your time counting accomplishments if you can't count on your friends. It's time for the carnival, can I go? Have a ride on the merry-go-round. Let's fly to the top of the Ferris wheel. I can see everything better from here.
Awesome! I love that.
Thanks. Thank you.
That's great. That's really inspirational.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very nice. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being on Mixing It Saturday Live. I've enjoyed having you, getting to know you, and I actually think, aren't we scheduled at some point in time for a
to
full
do the podcast?
Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
So
thank you so much. This is awesome. What an opportunity for me. This is really cool.
You are quite welcome, and you're welcome to be on any of our shows at any point in time. We're excited to share you with everyone. So we'll be chatting in the future. We will have Lisa on the Mixin' It podcast on Sim Radio. But for now, great to meet you. Thank you for joining me. Everyone, on behalf of Sim Radio and Sisters in Music, this is Nicki, Kris. We have had Mixin' It Saturday Live. Until next time, ciao.
Thanks,
and have a
Nicki.
good one. Bye.
Bye.